Hi, it's Mantas from Matieka and welcome to part 3 of edexcel past paper 2023. Okay, so in today's tutorial I will continue with all of the questions, so let's just get straight into it. So as I remember, I finished on probabilities question, and then today we're gonna move on to proportion. Okay, so let's read question 13. So y is directly proportional to x. What it means? It means that y is directly proportional to x. So when x increases, y increases at constant rate. So let's write it in another way. So when y increases, I mean when x increases, there should be some sort of proportion coefficient k, which defines how fast, what's the rate of increase. Okay, so let's plug in some values. So we need to work out what's the value of that k. So y is equal 24 when x multiplied by k is 24. Okay, so k must be multiplied by value of x, which is 1.5. So just put the multiplication sign, that which everyone can understand. So next, to work out k, we divide both sides by 1.5. So divide on both sides by 1.5, and 24 divide by 1.5. I don't like to have decimals in denominator, so I can just double both denominator and numerator to get 48 over 3, which 48 divided by 3, now I can divide easily, which is 16. Okay, so now let's plug that 16, because that was our k. Okay, so let's plug that into our proportion. So the equation for our proportion is y equals 16 times x. Okay, so 16 times x, and the question asks to work out the value when x is 5. So just plug that 5 into our proportion and we'll get that y is 16 multiplied by 5, which is equal to 8. Okay, so y equals to 80, and that's easy 3 marks. Okay, now let's move to next one. So write 1/16 in form of 4 to the power of n. Okay, so recap laws of indices. Okay, so one of the laws is if we've got a to the power of negative. Okay, so if we've got negative power, what it does, it flips the fraction upside down. Okay, so it moves the base to denominator. Okay, so 1 over a n. Okay, so check for relationship between 4 and 16. So we know that 4 squared is 16. Okay, so 4 squared is 16. Now we only need to do the minus, okay, because we need to move that into denominator. Okay, so 1 to the power of negative 2 will be the same as 1 over 4 squared, which will be equal to 1 over 16. So in that case, our n is a negative 2. So that's just put as an answer. So n equals to negative 2 over there. Okay, now next work out some more indices. So if we check index notation, which is if we've got fractional indices like n over m, that can be written as square root, sorry, not square root, just root of m, and the numerator goes into power. Okay, so let's change both of these into thirds, so we get square root of so not square root again, cube root, because we've got cube in denominator. So cube root of 8, then raised to the power of 5, take away square root of 9. By default that 2 is not written, because it's just by default everyone knows that square root has already 2 over there, but I just wrote anyways. Okay, and I need to cube the square root of 9. Okay, so let's do cube root of 8. So cube root of 8 is 2 raised to the power of 5 minus square root of 9 is 3, and keep the power of 3. So 2 to the power of 5 is like 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. So let's do 32, take away 9, work out the answer and get all marks. So 32 take away 9, 23, and 3 more marks into the exam part. Okay, so now next bit, we've got 2 equations. Okay, so we've got equation 1 and equation of the line 2, and what it says that both lines are perpendicular. Now, how to understand perpendicular lines is just simply check for the gradient. Okay, so we've got gradient. If gradient is negative reciprocal, so perpendicular to gradient m, so I'll do perpendicular. To get perpendicular equation, we need to flip the gradient upside down and make it negative. Okay, so in short, in other words, gradients of perpendicular line is negative reciprocal. Okay, so just minus 1 over original gradient. Okay, so now we've got equation number 1. Now for second equation, I need to rearrange it into form of y equals mx plus c. So just need to rearrange that into standard form of equation. So which means make y a subject of all of the equations. So let's let's copy the equation. So 6y plus kx minus 12 equals to 0. So get rid of everything what's not y. So we need to isolate y. So we get rid of minus kx, and we get rid of negative 12x. So do opposite. So that will make plus 12. Okay. So and do the same on both sides. Okay. So do the same on both sides. So our 6y will be equal to negative k x plus 12. Now we can see that y is multiplied by 6. So to isolate y completely, we need to divide both sides by by multiplier of y. So in this case, we divide both sides by 6, which will turn into y equals negative k over 6, negative k over 6 plus 12 divided by 5 is I forgot to put x here. Okay, plus 2, and what we need to do, we need to match this gradient. We need to match this gradient with perpendicular gradient of L1. Okay, so original gradient is 2. Okay, so original gradient was 2. So perpendicular gradient to L1 will be negative 1 over 2. Okay, so our gradient of second line should be equal to negative 1 over 2. So just set the equation. So minus k over 6 should be equal to negative 1 over 2. What I need to do, just solve it for k. So k is divided by negative 6, so to cancel that I just times by negative 6, and we get that k is equal to negative half times negative 6, so negative times negative makes positive, and 6 halves, so 6 halves simplifies into 3. Okay, so our value of k is equal 3, and that's another 3 marks and of this exam. Okay, so moving to next bit. So here's a sphere. By the way, I have not checked the questions in advance, so just working out those as I go through. So here's a sphere. So surface area of a sphere is given by this formula, so 4 pi r squared. So we get that 1/3 of surface area is 75 pi. Find the diameter of the sphere, give your answer. Okay, so let's highlight the key in the underline keyword, so what we are looking for, diameter, and give your answer in form of a square root of b, where a and b are, where a is in an integer and b is a prime number. Okay, so first what I need to get, I assume, is full surface area. Okay, so if we know that 3/8 of surface area is equal to 75. Excuse me, I need to check. I'll ring it. I'll answer it later. Okay, so so we've got 75 pi. Okay, so that's 3/8. So to work out the full, we need to do opposite to the fraction. We need to times 8 and divide by 3. So I just do to work out surface area. Okay, so area of the surface of the sphere is 75 pi, and I need to times that by 1/3. So just multiply by reciprocal or just divide by 3 times 8, which is let me check. So 75 divided by 3 is 25, then 25 times 3 is 200. So full area of that sphere is 200 of pi. Okay, once we get that, we substitute into the formula, just plug into formula, so we get that 200 of pi, which is full surface area, and that should be worked out by 4 pi r squared. So one variable, so one unknown, which is radius. So to work that out, we just divide by pi, cancel pi on both sides, then divide 200 by 4, which is 50. So we know that radius squared is equal to 50. Now square root on both sides. So square root on both sides, which will give us radius equals to square root of 50. Now check if there's a perfect square. Does any of perfect square goes into 50, so I can split that into 25 is perfect square times 2. So we square root 25, we get 5, okay, and remains root of 2. Okay, so now next bit, so we've got radius, and the question asks for a diameter. Okay, so diameter is double the radius, so diameter will be equal 2 times 5 root 2, which is 10 root 2. So now we get b is a prime number, so 2 is a prime number, and a is an integer of 10. So that should give you 4 marks if you've got the answer 10 square root of 2. Right, so let's move to next one. So now make x to be subject of the formula. So straightforward procedure, just get rid of all fractions, then if there's any bracket, expand the bracket and get x isolated on its own. So let's start. So first, to get rid of the fraction, I need to multiply that by that fraction on both sides. So I just times on both sides by 5x plus 3. So formula will become into y 5x plus 3 equal the numerator of the right side, because that just cancels after multiplication. So 4 2x minus 7. So first bit is done. Second bit, if there's any bracket, expand the bracket, because you need to move all x's to one side and all variables or all terms without x to the other. So let's expand the bracket. We get 5xy, then plus 3y equal to 8x and minus 28. So moving everything what's with x to left hand side, so we've got minus 8x, okay, and we move everything what's doesn't have any x, so this one we can see we've got x, so we leave that, don't touch it just yet. So we only need to move 3y to the other side by taking away. Okay, so these cancels from the left side and moves to the right hand side. So just to keep the balance, whatever we do to left hand side, we need to do the same for the right, and vice versa for the right hand side. So we do minus 8x, we need to do the same to the left hand side. Okay, so our equation becomes to 5xy minus 8x, so there's no more 3y over there, equals minus 3y minus 28. Okay, so now most of the work is done. We need to factor x, okay, and that's going to be pretty much one of the last steps. So our x, if we factor in front of brackets, the bracket stays with 5y minus 8 equals, if I want, I can just got two negatives, I can just take it in front of brackets and make both positive, so 3y plus 28, and divide both sides by 5y minus 8, because we need to isolate x. So our x is equal to minus 3y plus 28 over 5y minus 8, and that should bring you 4 more marks. Okay, you could move that minus to the denominator, but that would be pretty much enough to get, well, that wouldn't give any extra mark, just can leave it as it is. So x should be equal negative 3y plus 28 over 5y minus so another 4 marks. Okay, so let's check the next one. So we've got 7 kilograms of carrots, 5 kilograms of tomatoes at a cost of 480p. Okay, so I can just make start the equation by the first sentence. So we've got 7 kilograms of carrots plus 5 kilograms of tomatoes, which cost altogether 480p. Okay, so that's first sentence done. Now cost of 1 kilograms of carrots ratio to kilogram of tomatoes is 5 to 9. Okay, so first we should be thinking which is more expensive. Okay, so carrots cost only, okay, so cost of kilogram of carrots to cost of kilogram of tomatoes is 5/9. Okay, so let's put that into ratio. So carrots to tomatoes price is 5 to 9. So just written that ratio in more mathematical way. Now how can we set the equation for this ratio? So we know that carrots doesn't cost the same as tomatoes. So to set the equation, we need to make carrots to be more expensive. So we need to, if we got 9 kilograms of carrots, that would cost the same as 5 kilograms of tomatoes. Okay, so next bit, I need to check which one I can make a subject. So probably looking at the equation, I would like to get 5 in denominator. So just making myself a note that tomatoes is, so if I divide both sides by 5, we'll get 9/5 of carrots is the same as tomato. Okay, so for the price of tomato I can get like nearly 2 kilograms of carrots. Okay, so now just substitute that into the first equation. So 7c stays, okay, plus 5. Now instead of t, so instead of tomatoes, I substitute it with carrots. Okay, so 5, then 9/5 of c, and all that equal to 408. Okay, that's pretty much it. We've got one equation with one variable, so 7c plus, so 5 and 5, they cancel each other out and leaves with 9c equals to 480. Add 7 and 9 together, so we get 16c equals to 480. From there, c equals 480 divided by 16. So remember, it's a non-calculator paper, so I can just simplify the fraction as much as I can. I can see that the 8 goes in both top and bottom, so I just divide by 8. So that's one of the easiest numbers. So 8 times 2 and 8 times 60, we cancel 8, and we can do 60 divided by 2, which is equal to 30. Okay, so kilogram of carrots cost 30p. Now to work out the t, we substitute this into any of the equation. We can just substitute, probably would be easiest to substitute into first equation. We can even substitute it there, doesn't really matter. Okay, so I will substitute into this equation, which is t equals 9/5c. So to work out t is we get we times that 30 by 9 and divide by 5. So just times 30, and 9 30 divided by 5 is 6, and 6 times 9 is 54. So that's another 4 marks. So carrots cost 30, tomatoes cost 54. Move on to next bit. Let's check what this question asks for. So the menu in a restaurant has desserts, starters, main courses, and desserts. 5 starters, so 12 main courses, and there are X desserts. There are 420 different ways to choose one starter, main course, and dessert. Work out value of X. So in this we just check how many possible combinations can we make. Okay, so if we had the starters only, okay, so there would be 5 different options. Okay, now if we top up with 12 main courses, okay, so that's 5 times 12. Okay, and we don't know how many desserts, so just times it by X, and to know that it says there's 420 different combinations, so just equal to 420. Now multiply 5 by 12 to get 60. X equal to 420. So X will be equal, once we divide both sides by 60, we should get 7. Okay, so X equals 7. Easy to marks. And moving to next bit. Okay, so for X greater than 0 and for X greater than 0, the functions f and g are such as f equals 3x plus 4, g x square root of x plus 2 over 5. Okay, so work out the inverse of g. Okay, so to work out inverse, if we've got like we need to swap x and y values. So in this case, y equals square root of x plus 2 over 5. To work out the opposite function or inverse, all we have to do just swap x and y values and make a subject of new y. So in that case, instead of y, we substitute with x. Okay, equals, instead of x we substitute with y. So square root, it used to be square root of x, now we change with square root of y plus 2 over 5. Now all we have to do just make a subject of new y. So times both sides by 5. So times both sides by 5, we get 5x equals square root of y plus 2. Now take 2 on both sides. So we need to make y a subject, so we get 5x minus 2 equals square root of y. And last bit, we need to square on both sides. Okay, so squaring on left hand side, we get 5x minus 2, everything is squared, equals to y. So now we've got our inverse function. So g minus 1x will be equal to 5x minus 2 squared, and that's another 2 marks. Let's check for next one. Okay, so find the solve g f x. Okay, so equals 3. So we need to find composition of the function. So g of fx. So instead of into G, we need to substitute our f x over there. So instead of every single x, we use 3x plus 4. So just let's find the composition first. Okay, so that will be G of fx will be equal to square root of 3x plus 4. Okay, so that's just a change into x. Then we still have to do plus 2 over 5 and set that to 3. So set that, my pen just glitched, so set that to 3. Okay, so now we've got the equation to solve, and we need to solve it for x. So times both sides by 5. So times both sides by 5, because we don't need that 5 in the denominator. So just get rid of all fractions first. Okay, so we get square root of 3x plus 4, then plus 2 equals to 15. Then take away 5 on, take away 2 on both sides. So take 2 on both sides. So we'll get square root 3x plus 4 equals to 13. Okay, so now we've got x under the square root, so we need to square on both sides. We'll get 3x plus 4 equals square of 13. 13 times 13 is 169, and we've got a simple equation remaining, so just take 4 on both sides. We get 3x equal to 165. Divide both sides by 3, and x equals to 53. So x equals to 53. That's quite a hard question, but still 3 marks if you manage to solve it. Okay, let's check how many more questions we've got. Okay, so we've got 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I might leave those for part number 4. Actually, I might do one more before I go. So A, B, C are the points on the circle with center O. C, D is a tangent. Work out size of A. So when we label angles, we start with A, then move to D, then move to C. So A, D, C. So we're gonna have to work out what is the value of this angle. Okay, so let's check where we can start. So I can refer to circle theorems. We've got angle in the center and angle on the circumference. So we know one of the circle theorems says that angle on the center is double of angle from circumference. Okay, so we've got angle on the center. From there we can say that angle BAD is half of 64, so that's, which is 32 degrees. So angle BAD equal to 64 divided by 2, which is equal to 32 degrees. And it asks to write down any circle theorems you use. So here is angle in center center is double the angle of circumference. Okay, so that's going to be 1 mark. Now next bit, always try to work as many angles as you can. So I can check what's this angle. So we've got angle A, whatever, there's no letters, so just angle A, this angle and B are in triangle. So to work that out, I just get 180, take away other sum of so take away sum of angles I know, so take away 32 plus 51, so work out 32 plus 51, which is 83. So we can work out that this angle is equal to 97 degrees. Okay, so 180 take away 83, we get 97. That 97 is this angle, so 97, and vertically opposite angles, that's also 97 degrees. Okay, so let's work out the angle ODA or ADO. So angle ADO will be equal, because again we've got triangles, so 180, take away other angles we know, so take away 64 plus 97, so work out 64 plus 97, so 64 plus 97 gives 161, so that angle will be angle ADO, then will be equal to 19 degrees. Okay, so then last bit, we know that CDE is a tangent, so I can say that angle ODC is 90 degrees. Okay, and the circle theorem says that radius and tangent of the circle are 90 degrees, or they are perpendicular, just write 90 degrees. Okay, so now only thing left is do ADC. To finish the question, we just get 90 degrees. Okay, so 90 degrees, take away 19, and that will bring us with 71. So which is equal to 71 degrees. Okay, and that would be how many marks? Let's check how many marks that does. Okay, so 4 marks in this question. Okay, so I'll get back to the remaining questions next time, and hope that was useful.